Hello again, this is Ant-Man Tornado, bringing my video of my top 10 favourite knives. Cedric Adder had one on his channel just a few days ago, and it's taken me a few days just to think about what would be my 10 favourite knives. Just so difficult to do, so I've included a fair few of my knives here that I like the most. A few didn't quite make the table, but that's okay. And on here there's some honourable mentions that didn't quite meet the top 10 as such, but I thought I'd include them on the table because they're such great knives. Over on the side here to start with is two Puma knives, the Puma Hunter's Companion and the Puma Bowie. I think I like the Hunter's Companion better. I've used it a few times. Both great knives, but yeah, maybe it's my favourite knives. I don't really use them that much, particularly the Puma Bowie. I don't think I've really used it at all, but it's a great knife, lightweight. I'm sure it makes a good hunting knife. So these ones, two Pumas, honourable mentions. Just put them to one side. Up the top here, I'll bring down the two Ka-Bar knives. Of course the Ka-Bar's been around a long time, got a great reputation. This one's got the black rubber handle, and the Ka-Bar Navy. Made a video on that one. Two great knives, reasonably priced. If you wanted a set of knives to use out in the bush or something like that, by all means get some of these, reasonably priced. But I don't really use them. I've got so many other knives to use, and these ones tend to get pushed down the list a bit, but they're worth an honourable mention in my top 10 knives. So there we go, the two Ka-Bar knives. Two knives here, as well as another knife I bought. Just came as a package deal, got them reasonably priced. This one by J. Hoover, this one by Joe Haggis, something like that. I think they're both American made makers. Though I tried to look and didn't find much information about J. Hoover. Maybe he's been retired, similarly. Just interesting that he put his name on this side of the knife rather than this side, which is more common. But a great knife all the same. It's carbon steel knife. It's had a little bit of use, a couple of little rust spots on there, but I find it quite a good knife. I just use it from time to time. Similar to this one here, a really great finish on the knife, polished, micarta handles, really nice indeed. Great knife to use around, cutting up a few veggies, all sorts of things. So worth an honourable mention at least, even though they're not really made anymore, or maybe they are, I'm not sure, but anyway they're not more of the up-to-date knives that have makers that you find around, so worth an honourable mention. Similarly, this Browning knife, it's I think his name was Mark Coma. He made a custom knife, and Browning took up his design and had some made in Taiwan with his design. Just a beautiful knife, micarta handle, polished, very sharp. I don't think I'll ever really use it. Maybe one day I'll end up selling it. They're not overly expensive, but I just like looking at it, like having it. One designer, I didn't quite understand why this is such a long distance here. Maybe it's just to put your finger up here a bit when you're cutting. And because of this slope down the grind angle, the blade doesn't actually start, the sharp part doesn't start till way up here. So, but anyway, great knife and worth an honourable mention. Browning knife. And we just moved through the list a bit more. This big one here, use it around home, stainless steel blade, hollow ground, great knife, made in Australia. I don't know who the maker was, but really great knife, worth an honourable mention. But because it's one that you can't buy as such, I don't think it really makes a top 10, but it's definitely a good knife. Finger groove up here, worth an honourable mention. I'm glad I've got it. And now I might move on towards my top 10. And the top 10, I thought I'd put in my own design knife first. That's this big one up here. I mostly use it around home. It's got a couple of little chips in it, but it's working out really well. The handles didn't quite match there when they were made, and maybe the wood's shrunk a little bit, but it's really a good knife. I think if I was going to make a second version or upgrade the knife a little bit, maybe wouldn't quite put the swedge in here like I've got, but other than that, great chopper, great slicer knife, not too thick, not too heavy, really good. And also my little knife, this one here, I use this one quite a bit. I just keep it on the shelf next to my desk. Really working out to be a great knife. Looking at making a version 2 of this one, but the handle design will be the same, but the blade a little bit shorter in height and come around here maybe up to a half an inch shorter overall length. I think the balance would look a little bit better, wouldn't lose too much in the cutting edge as such. Great knife. So I haven't really thought of a name for it. People tend to make a name for their knives, so hey, maybe if you want to put a comment down there of what I could use for a brand name for my own designs and have them made, be great. So anyway, coming at number 10, my own designs. I'm very happy with them. Number 9, the big guy up here, big bloke, the BK9. Great knife to have. I normally just carry it in my pack rather than on my belt, but I can see why people rave about these knives, get some great reviews. BK9, great chopper, great knife in the bush, all sorts of things. So yeah, great to have, BK9. This one's got the micarta scales on it rather than the original scales. Really working well. This one here, made in Australia, S35 VN steel. A guy called Russell. He's on the Australian Knife Forums if you want one made. Just something about the design or the way it works or something like that, finding it's a really good knife, bit of a favourite. It's got the finger grooves in here, maybe not quite so common, but they're chamfered on the ends here. And it's got a quite a little pointy bit to bash something on the ends rather than a flat. No lanyard hole. Maybe you don't really need it on this, but a good sort of thumb rest here. You can move up your thumb, cutting, whatever. Really great knife. Yeah, great indeed from an Australian maker called Russell. I can't remember his last name, but it's on the Australian Knife Forum if you want to look him up. So that knife's coming in at number 7, I think. Oh, number 8. Number 8. Moving on. Put it back up here. Put my BK back up here as well. So put these ones back so they're on the list. Number 10, number 9, number 8. Put them in order. So there we go. Number 7, got my Lion Steel SR1. Just a great knife. It just looks good, designed right. Obviously a unique design because it's one piece handle. Yeah, what to say about it? Using it just seems to feel right in the hand. Good size handle, D2 steel on the blade. This one's yeah, D2 steel there. Great knife, really good. Coming in next, I think at number 6, is a couple of these gentleman knives here. This one's the Grohmann knife. I just put it on the table for honourable mention. Really nice knife, but yeah, it just doesn't quite get up there to the standard of these other two. This is the Puma knife. Just fantastic as a pocket knife, gentleman's folder style, lock back. Nice blade, sharp. And similarly, the Falcon Even as well, the P3 P knife. With their this one's the 3G steel, so I thought I'd make these a tie. Both great knives to have. Number 5 should be my 2 Schrades. I just tied these as well. Obviously one's a lot bigger than the other. This Schrade 9 I bought some time ago. Just a great knife. I've had to trim the handles down a little bit here, but it still fits my hand. The design, you can move your hand back and do some chopping. The Griffin design, he tends to like these recurves coming up here, similarly with the Schrade 42. Obviously quite a bit smaller, but the blade maybe similar in shape, but different in the way it's ground. both great knives, and I just thought I'd make that a tie together, both Schrade knives. Very budget friendly type knives as well. So these coming in at number 5 should be, if I've got my list correct. Griffin Design, Schrade 9, the Schrade 42, great knives. Number 4 is a couple of my smaller folder EDC knives. So these ones just along here. This is Spyderco Salt H1 knife, lightweight. And then I got a Zancudo. Had this for a while, great knife. Rat 1, little cold steel Recon Mini. It's hard to differentiate between these knives. This is the latest one I got, Boca M type. I'm really liking this at the moment. Fairly slim, good sized blade, a little bit tall there. I just seem to like the design, be carrying it around. Very nice. So overall, not sure which one I'd really pick to be number 1, because obviously the Rat's a great knife, little Zancudo, the Salt, they're all good, but just at the moment, I suppose this is my favourite just at the moment. So they equally paired up, really hard to decide. Hang on, I've mixed one, coming in at number 7, I've messed up my list here. I've got these two paired together. They're such common knives, Mora knife and the Swiss Army knife. So everybody should have at least one of each of these. So I've got several Swiss Army knives with different tools on them. Got a couple of Moras, great knives and great favourite knives, and I think great to have. So I think actually this was number 7. So I've messed up my list there a bit. Yeah, so these ones are number 6. The Schrades are number 5. Number 4 was this selection of EDC folders. Number 3, over to these ones just here, a selection of smaller fixed blades. Got the Professional Soldier Chris Reeve knife, great knife. But it goes up in the price range a little bit compared to some of the others, but if you can afford it, this one's in the Tanto. You can get a normal clip point as well, and great knife. BK24, this in the stainless steel. Azula. Better these, I think the Azula, maybe don't tend to prefer this one so much for some reason, I'm not sure, but very popular knife, very good handle shape on it. But for a bit more price friendly knife, get a BK24 small fixed blade, great knife. Comes with a good sheath, got a pocket clip on it. The two little Bokers, sort of fit in the same range. This little Boka Gnome I carry quite a bit. It slips in its sheath in my pocket. Just great to have around, because you just want to cut a packet, cut a piece of string, something like that. That's all you really need. A one finger knife with lanyard on the back. This Boka here, just great. I'm looking at getting a smaller, thinner type sheath for it, because it's come with the leather sheath. A little bit bulky, so I'd like to get a flat sheath like the Gnome's got. These two sort of equally paired. Maybe the Azula doesn't quite come in. And so going across there, number 2, my Falcon Evens. I just grouped them all together here with the big A1 and the middle S1 in the middle and the little F1s. Got a couple of F1s now. I showed the video. Got the black one with the tan handle, and got another one as well. And yeah, got another S1 in black. Great knives. I couldn't separate them as to which one was really my favourite, because the A1's great. The paint comes off a little bit there, or whatever the coating is, but it's just fantastic. S1, great belt knife to have when out walking around. But the price range of these, it goes up a bit higher than what the Schrades are. So obviously Schrade's got a whole other series of similar size knives. So Schrades are great. If you've got a bit more budget, by all means think of the Falcon Evens. They're just something about them. Particularly this A1, the fatter handle and the thickness of the blade. S1, they're all good. So I just kept them all together. Falcon Evens. And the number 1s coming in are my... I've got the Eka here, was Forgot to mention as an honourable mention. Great knife, quite a different design with the back lock right down to the end and the wooden handles. Well worth having. But yeah, just worth an honourable mention there. Similarly with the little CRKT, I just had them on the bench here to show. These ones here, my Code Forward and my Recon 1. Great knives, both of them. I don't tend to use the Recon 1 much, I just find that it's just too big to put in my pocket. I do put in my bag from time to time to carry it around, but even then, such a big blade, just don't really find it necessary to use as far as EDC wise goes. This Code 4, especially with the engraving on it, wow, what a beautiful looking knife. It's definitely a favourite. Sits on my shelf, I look at it often, open it up. Yeah, really good. So I've just got those there more as an honourable mention and to show them off. Coming down here to my Chris Reeve knives. Just great. Just something about them that people talk about. As they say, if you're looking on the out looking in, you can't understand, and if you're inside looking out, you can't explain it. So just something about the way they are, the plain design, nothing really fancy in the design, just straight titanium, spacers, open design. But out of these two larger ones, I tend to prefer the Zahn. Just something about the handle, or not quite sure what it is, but I prefer the over the actual Sebenza. Sebenza 21. So this is what really put them on the map. Been made nearly 30 years now, Sebenzas, in slightly different variations, but Sebenza 21, great knife. And the small with the inlays, just fantastic. I think this would probably be one of the last ones I'd ever have to get rid of if I was forced to sell them. It'd be this one, my be keeping them for sure. So that's my top 10, even though I've got quite a few knives on the table, a couple of group knives and that sort of thing. So thanks for watching. By all means, make your own top 10 and put them up there for us to have a look at and see what you like or what you prefer, things like that. This is me and Twin Enable. Thanks for watching. Remember, stay prepared, stay alert, stay ready. Endure to the end. Bye bye for now.